Welcome to the tutorial video of installing and adjusting the steering arm. We recommend having your bike elevated to do this, to give you greater access to the underneath of the bike and to allow for movement of the front wheel when adjusting the steering arm later. For this job you will need a torque wrench, a 5mm hex key attachment, a 4mm hex key attachment, a 5mm hex key, a 4mm hex key, two 13mm spanners, two 17mm spanners, a soft-headed hammer, and some high-performance grease. The steering arm comes assembled in three parts: the linkage, the transmission arm, and the ball joint. All of these parts need to be adjusted correctly to ensure the bike steers safely. Ensure that the handlebars and front wheel are facing straight ahead. Begin by attaching the linkage to the steering rod with the soft-headed hammer. There should be 5mm of steering rod visible underneath it, and it should hold itself in place here. Next, attach the ball joint to the fork. Unscrew the nut from the bolt and remove the bolt from the ball joint. Place the bolt and silver washer through the outermost hole in the fork from above. Grease the whole bolt and insert the ball joint onto it. Place the black washer with the pocket facing upwards onto the bolt and tighten the nut using two 13mm spanners to 11 to 14 Nm. How to adjust the length and height. It's important that the length and height are adjusted correctly to prevent the bar from hitting the frame or kickstand. Using a hex key, loosen the two bolts underneath the transmission arm by half a turn. This should allow for adjustment of both the length and height of the bar. Adjust the length of the arm by extending the arm so that only 1 cm can be seen from the linkage. Holding this in place, adjust the height of the arm. The arm should be no more than 1 cm away from the frame. Measure this distance at the bend in the arm and the corner of the bike frame. Tighten the two bolts with the hex key to 7 Nm. How to adjust the distance from the front wheel. You will need to adjust the distance of the arm from the wheel. It's likely that the wheel will come into contact with the arm when turning left now. Turn the front wheel left as far as it will go without force. The distance from the arm should be 1 cm. Locate the screw and bolt on the linkage closest to the steering down tube. Holding the 5mm hex key in place, unscrew the nut by a few turns using a 13mm spanner. Next, using the hex key, unscrew the bolt until it is stopped by the nut. Check the distance between the wheel and the arm. It should have increased. If the distance is still too close, repeat this process. If the distance is too much, screw the bolt back in slightly. When the correct distance has been found, hold the bolt in place with the hex key and screw the nut tight with the spanner. Then align and secure the ball joint. Using a 17mm spanner, align the ball joint so the flat surface is parallel to the fork tab. Then tighten the nearest nut to the steering arm. Then tighten the middle nut against the ball joint, both to 15 to 18 Nm. How to align the arm, front wheel and handlebar. Turn the front wheel so that it's facing straight, holding the steering linkage so it's at a 90-degree angle. Turn the handlebars until the vertical ridge on the Easy Up stem lifter is aligned with the frame of the bike. Loosen the two linkage bolts if necessary to do this. Then, tighten the steering linkage to 7 to 9 Nm. Now check the alignment of the handlebars. It's best to do this with the bike on the ground. Standing over the frame of the bike, check the alignment of the handlebars with the front wheel. To make adjustments, use a 4mm hex key to loosen the bolts on the handlebar stem so you can turn the handlebar without the front wheel moving. Turn the handlebar so it aligns with the front wheel and retighten the bolts to 6 Nm. You now have a fully assembled and adjusted steering arm.